Hey, thank you, Joy. The topic of tonight is karma and free will. So good evening, everyone. I hope you had a free will to subscribe and you use that free will. So apparently you did, and not many people did because they are not there. So they are more bound to the habits of sitting behind the television and doing nothing, and you are doing something, right? And yeah, Peter, smile. That is more nicer. Um, why did I came to this topic? You know, what I wrote down first is that we are just a bundle of atoms, protons, electrons. We just energy, and consciousness can work through that energy. So basically, I realized definitely that we are not these protons, electrons, and atoms. We are definitely not that energy. That energy is just, a provider for the consciousness to work through. So if you realize that, then all your ego mind stuff and stuff, it's less important, getting really less important. And the biggest trap, I realize that the biggest trap in our life is that we start thinking. And we start thinking in a way that we are separate from a source, separate from something. The best way to explain it is a little baby who is coming out of the womb. Then inside of the womb, the baby will feel like oneness with the mother. When it comes out, and it will be cut off, literally, then there might be a feeling of separation. Especially when you grow up, the little child start walking and everything is coming from outside. Because the first thing the child is realizing, not consciously, but nevertheless, it is that before birth, everything came from inside. When the baby is going out of the womb, the first thing the baby wants is milk, is food. And then it realized that it has to be outside. So that is the first signal for the baby to start dealing with the outside world, because in the outside world, there is someone who is feeding me. Can you imagine that through all the years of your life, all kind of impressions, all kind of experiences are creating a kind of picture in your head of how the world is working. You create a kind of world inside of you, what I call a concept. It's just, a thought, how the world is working, how you are working. So based on that experience that you have in the outside world, is that we stop on a certain point in life and think, what is actually happening? What is basically happening with me that I am identifying myself with this body? I identify myself with this life, with my surroundings, with my opportunities. I realize so many things in life that I really get attached to life. And why are there the yamas and niyamas in yoga? Why are there so many commandments in religious? I think basically because the human being is so attracted and so distracted from his personal inner self that all kind of religious and spiritual movements, they realize that people need guidance, not being distracted by all the things from the outside world. And all the religious and all the spiritual movements, they all say, go inside. Why do they say go inside while we all are so focused on the outside world? That's the challenge. That's the challenge for tonight, for this lecture. What makes us attaching ourselves to everything which is outside of me? What is attracting me? And maybe these are the things which we are entangled in, like what I will call them out like samskara. Samskaras are impressions. We also, in our body, we have our hormones. And these hormones are taking care of all kinds of processes, right? And a process like that, you can also say that if we are looking to these processes, you can say that we as humans, we're all going through the same kind of processes of life. Not only the processes determined by the physically changes that take place during your life, but also undergo the mental and emotional processes that go with it. What I want to say is that we are going from a childhood to the puberty, to the adolescence, to become an adult, to become an older man. They are so predictable processes in life, physically, only physically. But through these physical changes, mental and emotional processes are joining in that too. And even in that kind of things, like we think that we have a problem. I'm giving a lot of coaching and talk with people individually. And most of the people think they have a unique problem. And I constantly think, come on, if I zoom out, if I go up to the hill and look over the village, look over life, then I see so many people are doing the same thing. But we all have the idea that we are unique in that. We have a problem. I have a problem. But if you see it like by childbirth, how unique is that for a woman? Although there are millions of women who came before and will come afterwards. So nothing special in that. Nothing specially is in that situation because it is constantly happening through time. And I have the feeling that all these kind of experiences through hormones, through just all the average experiences we have to go through in life, we see it as a problem. But it's just life. This is just life, nothing more, nothing less. So go through it and overcome it. But we try to suppress it artificially by medication or by therapy or whatever. And then it is really interesting if you can say, do we have a free will to take matters into our own hands? That is really the question on that moment. Because what we can say that these are hormones, physical reactions in life, which are giving us some problems, but not very special. You know, the bigger problem than the hormones are our habits. Our habits are also a big, big challenge. We are stuck into the habits. We are slave of our habits. We are slave of our expectations. We are slave of our past and future. We are slave of our karma and of our concept of thinking. If we go into this a little bit more, then maybe you will realize that if we are the slave of our samskaras, then we have to realize what are samskaras. These are experiences. Experiences through life and through different lives, stored inside of your chitta, what we call. Call it the memory stick inside of us. But all these memories are connected with kind of emotions which you had in those times, with emotions and with thoughts. And these samskaras is like in a bookstore. They are in that store, inside of that chitta, what we call, stored away. You don't think about them now, but only when they get triggered. And nobody will think about it, what I will say now in 1 minute, but you will think about it. You will have your memories maybe, but you don't think about them now. If I talk about my experience of my holiday in Portugal, everybody will think now, I have never been there. So everybody has his thoughts. And what we call is then a memory becomes a vritti, a movement, which is popping up into your conscious level. It wants to have a place on the big conscious screen, so you can remember yourself. Can you imagine that we have so many experiences through lives, that all your actions, all your moments are colored by these thoughts and memories, which are popping up whenever they get triggered. And they influence your state of mind in the moment. If you have a bad experience with some people, then if you see them after 10 years, you will have that experience coming up inside of you, and you're warned. You be careful to deal with them. So our samskaras, our memories, they are creating a kind of life soup, as you can say it, a taste. Everybody has his own taste. Or to say it like everybody of us has his own vibration, his own energy, which can be kind, which can be calm, which can be angry, which can be dynamic. We all have our own vibration. The samskaras, they are inside of us. We can't just throw them away. So we have to deal with them. What we can say, they are the influences of this time. Your samskaras are the influences, like what we have now in social media, influences. We have that inside of us. Because what we call in Sutra 212 and 213 and 214, for instance, karmasaya, the storage of all these memories are there, and we have to clean them up. So our samskaras, they are not so easy to remove. So this is a hindrance. This is a pollution in having a pure intellect, pure state of mind. So they are very polluting our state of mind. And like I said, if you talk about hormones, they have so much impact in our physical, emotional, mental, and intellectual level. We underestimate it very much because the hormones are doing a lot. If you are stressed, then the hormones will start working. If you're calm, then hormones will be calm. If your hypophysis, hypothalamus, and your pineal gland, if they are calm, if your state of mind is calm, that's the point, then hormones are calm. So it all depends on your state of mind again. Your state of mind of stressful or not stressful, your state of mind in the way of peaceful tranquility. If you're calm and the world doesn't, affect you so much, your system will be fine. But if we are stressed under the skin, then that will affect the hormones. That will affect all kind of system inside of our body, and it will be disbalanced. Why do we meditate? One of the reasons is to create that nervous system to calm down inside of us. Calming down that nervous system means that your whole system, starting from the nervous system, will calm down. And we can do that with meditation, with pranayama, and of course also asanas. So to control the hormones, we have all kind of asanas to activate or to lower them down, slow them down. So in that way, you can say that hormones have a big impact. There is a fair question inside that you can say that if women are really desiring for a child, is that the hormones who are working, or is that a personal convincedness? Is somebody convinced that she wants to have a child, or is it more an effect of nature to procreate? That's a question. Because I really think the hormones are so important that the race of human beings has to continue. So that is the biggest and strongest hormone which is there. That the woman and the man are convinced we want to have a child. Oh yeah, sure. So the power, the strength, and the influence of the hormones is definitely there. It's definitely in us, and it is polluting our state of mind. And it is polluting the state of mind. It's not actually, sorry, should be reversed, that our polluted state of mind is disbalancing the hormone balance. So if we want to balance out the hormones, we have to balance out our state of mind. And then we come to our habits. If you look to your habits, it's just, a pattern of behavior which you get used to. And why is that blocking our way of freedom? Because habits are giving you also a kind of frame of where you can move in your life. We are prisoners of our own habits. That's what I say sometimes, that we are prisoners of our own habits. Our own habits of way of thinking, that you have a concept of thinking that the world is like it is as you think. But that is very relative. Your way of thinking is just your way, nothing more, nothing less, nothing more important or less important, but it is just your way. So if you make your concept the most important concept, then you have a problem. But if we can see it as a concept, and so you have a concept, he has a concept, she has a concept, everybody has a concept, just like that, hey, maybe we can learn something from each other. That would be great. So our habits can be definitely an obstruction for being a free person. Because habits are also sometimes a family habit, cultural habits. You can't speak out, because what do the people outside will think of us if they start to know it? So in that way, our habits can also really be a blocking of freedom of thinking, freedom of feeling, freedom of moving around in the way you like. So that's why my guru always said, try to keep an open mind. Try to keep an open mind constantly. Because if you are closing up your doors and your windows, and you let no one inside of your house anymore, what do you learn? You're just in your little bubble, and from your little bubble, you start to believe that whatever you think it's good, it's right. But you don't open up your windows, open up your doors to have new information, because everything what you know is very limited, because you don't know the real truth. So if you know that it is a limited knowledge, your way of thinking is very limited, because it is limited because of your power of having this information. If you think that 10 years ago you made a decision, and you would think now in this moment, I would do I would make another decision. That means you are limited in those days, and now you grew up a little bit. In that way, we are constantly changing. If you read Sutra 215, that is about parinama, is constantly everything is changing. And try to absorb that word, parinam. It is constantly changing. Everything in the world is constantly changing. So we can't hold up our habits as if they are the guidelines, the borders of our thinking, of our feeling, of our way of acting. No, it should be guidelines through which you can work, but you can also cross them. Then we have another issue, and that these are the expectations. What I say, we are sometimes slave of our expectations. Especially these expectations you are not expressing. And if you're not expressing, then that is the most worst part in life. How many expectations do you have to your partner, which you don't say? Always make that joke that the wife is divorcing the man after 10 years of marriage, and then the man asks her, why are you divorcing me? Then the woman say, in all these 10 years, you never brought me on Friday evening a nice bouquet of flowers, because I want you to do that from your free will. Then I always tell the woman, why don't you ask me to do it? Then I will do it. No, you have to do it from yourself. So that is an expectation which is not expressed. So let's try not to keep these kind of expectations inside of you. Just express them. Tell them. Expectations is one thing. Going for the fruit of your expectations, that's another problem. Can you imagine if you have expectations, if you want to go to the Olympic Games, then you go and work hard. You make sacrifices. You work hard because you know you have to work hard if you want to reach that level. And then you reach that point and you go to the Olympic Games, but you become 5th or 6th. So you don't reach your goal. Are all these athletes frustrated people on the moment they are coming back home from the Olympic Games? No. They enjoy the ride. They enjoy the way towards that point also. So we can expect from spirituality, from yoga, to be enlightened one day. Yes, of course, why not? But if it is not happening now, then don't be disappointed. So what we want to say with expectations is you can have an expectation, you can go for the fruit, but if the fruit will not come, don't be disappointed. That gives you a freedom. That gives you a freedom of focusing, and you're not depending anymore if the fruit will come or not. The play, the game is more important than that fruit, which will come eventually, but you never know when. Then what I said also with our past, and what I want to say with our past, I mean that what I said before with the habits is that if you've grown up in a village, in a big city, in a religious family, in all kind of situations where you will come as a child, then that past can follow you. If you were in a criminal family and you say you were a criminal, and you come to the point of enlightenment, and you tell the people, now I'm enlightened, I saw the light, I'm convinced of that. But actually what is happening, the society will still see you as a criminal, ex-criminal. So they are testing you. If you're really talking the truth, that means the past is like a burden on your shoulder, but you have to manage it. This is what we call also, what we come to the next point with karma, is that this is your karma. The past is your karma. We have to deal with that. We have to deal with that with open mind. Because whatever you think you want to do in life, your karma will come. And what is karma? Karma actually was born out of avidya, these signs. We don't know. We don't know the truth. We think we know the truth. We think what is perishable is permanent. We make a mistake. We are thinking, and that thinking is a mistake. So karma, avidya, is the birthplace of the karmic cycle. So when avidya is the karmic child from avidya, we have to overcome avidya. That is definitely the task. But in the meantime, all your emotions, your thoughts, your actions, your intentions, that's a part of why karma is coming. So whatever your thoughts were in a situation, your feelings were in a situation, your actions were in a situation, that is giving you fruit. And some people say, oh, but from where does it come? How, if I have a bad luck now, where did I do something wrong? Then I say, we don't know. We really don't know where it is coming from. Because karma can still come from 20 lives, from your past 20 lives, 21 lives. How can you ever know why you did something and because of that you have now your karma? We don't know. The only thing is what we know is that we have to deal with something. And also what we can, where we have to deal with is the idea, the picture where we are sitting now. We are sitting in a situation of wealth. Everybody who's sitting here has also positive karma, positive, negative karma, both. They are constantly there. There's no doubt about that. And if we are aware of that positive karma also, we should be more grateful and more humble in the way of dealing with whatever is coming on our plate. So karma is something we cannot put away. what they call in that Sutra 213 is that karmasaya is filled up with all impressions from this life and previous lives. And we have to deal with it, whether you like it or not. Even your future is actually predicted by that karmic process, because you'll be born in a family in a certain status. You will have a certain age, which you will reach, what we call, you have so many breaths in this life, and you will have an amount of suffering and enjoyment in this life, which is predicted. This is already done. Like I sometimes say that a birth horoscope is a kind of karmic map of your life, which in big lines is already fixed. So, talking about free will, you can say that your whole karmic life and reactions which will come on in your life, it's just from the past. This is what is happening to you. And it is not about, this is my own fault, my own guilt. No, 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 don't think in that way. It's just a response of, because it is a mathematical precision in this karmic system. And it is just giving you what you did before. So karmic system in itself is neutral. It's not positive or negative. On worldly level, you can say it is negative or positive. But karmic on itself, it's just neutral. So then, to reconsider everything what I just said, there is one biggest problem still left. And that is really our concept of thinking. Our concept of thinking is limiting us to go beyond the borders of our thinking, to throw it away and just open your mind. In yoga, we are talking about so many abstractions, which is difficult to grasp because we are used to work in the outside world, which is limited. But our concept of thinking is the biggest trap, is the biggest problem we have. And now I have something, like in the Gita I saw, also a point that in the Gita, in the chapter 6, the 5th shloka, it's written, one should elevate oneself through one's own efforts and not bring oneself down. So, what does that mean? Well, I wrote it down to make it more clear that, do we have any free will? I will come to the end of this lecture in that point. But before that, you have a free will. But you have to act, and nobody can do it for you. Because in this shloka, I thought of some more points. I added some more points, and I will read that for you. You are the center of your own life. Realize that you came alone, you will go alone. You get to process all the experiences, and nobody can do that for you. Nobody. You decide what the world looks like, right? You determine the value of each object in this outside world. That's you who gives value. Nobody can do that for you. You decide whether an experience is pleasant or unpleasant. You determine how life is lived. You determine your own future, and you determine how much influence the past and the future and the outside world have on your vision of life. With a clear goal in mind, you can elevate yourself above the learned habits and patterns. You are able to loosen the corset, to take it off when it suits you. You're able to adjust your own concept. You're able to become a spectator of your own concept. You're able to see the pure in yourself. You're able to put everyday life into perspective and put it in larger context. The pure self can be a friend of the worldly self. Don't forget. You're able to see possibilities at any time in life. You should take yourself seriously and elevate yourself above the lower mind. You can love yourself as you are. You may stumble on the path of life. You can choose to be a victim or a go-getter. You are the only constant factor in your own life. And the last one is, you can realize that your own concept is essentially Maya, illusion. So what I try to explain is that we are able to change our own life. We are able, and we have the power, we have the tools to change our own life, to make our life more in freedom, freedom inside of us. You know, I had a poem, a little one, which is creating that same picture, that everything is in our head, in our thoughts. And it is go like that. We are not attached to objects in themselves. We are entangled in the swirl of thoughts, which are intertwined with desires, where expectations are the determining factor. The object is neutral. The head and heart are full of movements in relation to the object. So soften your expectations and be quiet. What I want to say is that if you like someone, if you like a picture, a car, or whatever, it's all in your mind. Just what I just said now, also in that list of what you can lose or what you can adjust, what you can become, what you can see, what you can put every day. It's in you. It's just in you. Nobody else can do it for you. But really, nobody else can do it for you. And that is the most beautiful part in it, that also in the Gita I said adhyatmika. Adhyatmika means like we have the responsibility to our own health on physical, emotional, mental, intellectual, and spiritual level. Your responsibility. Nobody can take care of that health better than you. Your choice. We have so much freedom in making a choice. And then it is coming up, but how can we and where do we have that freedom? Where is that freedom? Freedom is in the gunas. Freedom is in the gunas because we have a sattvic and we have a rajic and we have a tamasic picture. And you can say that because nature is rajic, movement. So basically, we as human beings are rajic. But we can choose between the sattvic part in life and the tamasic part of life. If we have the feeling that I want to learn, I want to be good, I want to do the best thing in life, you can choose for the sattvic way of life. You want to stay in activity, more in activity, you can stay in the rajic state of mind. If you want to be on the lazy side of life, you can go in the tamasic state of mind. That's fine. All three are fine. In the tamasic state of mind and rajic state of mind, you will feel more present. Your free will is there. Definitely it is there. It doesn't change. but you have the feeling that you have no power to overcome your habits, that you don't have any power to overcome your expectations, because that's the point. If you go into the sattvic way of life, then you realize that you have to say no to yourself, that you restrict yourself, that you give yourself some orders, and that your mind is not always getting what he wants. And that's the nice part of it, that if we try to live a sattvic way of life, we prefer the intellect is ruling the heart. Because if I say intellect and heart, that should be in line. And the mind is only chasing satisfaction. And your ego is just waiting which one of the two is stronger. Is the mind stronger or is the intellect stronger? So if we try to make this sattvic move in life, that means you will feel that if you reject yourself or you discipline yourself in the beginning, because that's what we need. In the beginning, we need some discipline. But slowly, slowly, if you make your goal very clear in life, and that is if you read Sutra 130, that gives you a really good insight that having a clear goal in life, it's way more easy to have a sattvic lifestyle. If you don't have a goal, then you just, sail with the wind, whatever you want. And you can go everywhere, but never anywhere where you want. So creating a goal in life is giving you actually more freedom. More freedom in the way of the gunas, and so that you can tackle your slavery status in your samskaras, in your hormones, in your expectations, in your past, in your karma, in your habits. Life will become more easy if you create goals in life. If I made a goal in life that yoga will be my way of life. That means a lot of things I will just drop. Do I miss it? Never. I will miss it. And I don't miss it because I have no need for it. If we become vegetarian or you become vegan, it's not a discipline. Oh, I'm not allowed to do that. What? You order yourself. You choose yourself. So you can eat meat whenever you like, but you don't like to do it. Because you've been reflecting yourself in what is it that I really want in life. You put yourself to a certain goal. If you make your goal clear, then it's less harder. Your free will be stronger because you can choose. And the most beautiful thing in life, if your goal is clear, crystal clear, life becomes way more easy. What I see in life many times when I meet people, they don't know where to go. They don't have a real clear goal. And they're wandering around. Go here and go there, but never into the depth of life. So when I tell them, try to meditate, go inside and try to find the peace inside of you. And if you find that peace inside of you, then life will become more easy. Or you have your worldly problems, but you can deal with it more easily. You can deal with your samskaras because you know where they come from. You know you can deal with your hormones because you know that it's the system where I'm living in. You know that your habits are there, but you're not so tied to these habits anymore. You want to break free. Your expectations are going down because your desires to the world will slow down, will get less. So less disappointments. And your karma, you know, this is just what I deserve from the past. I just take it as it is. We don't make a big issue out of it anymore. That's your freedom. That's the true freedom. To see life from a different point of view, to see your own life from the top of the hill and overlook yourself, oversee yourself, and see whatever is going on. Do I have to suffer, or is it just temporarily? This is how life can be, my dear. We can enjoy life so much more. We have so much freedom. Listen to little children, up to 4 or 5 years. I saw just now a nice quote from children between the age of 4 and 8 about love. What is love? And if you read these quotes, you think these are the biggest teachers we need. Because they are just open-minded. And why can't we be open-minded? Because we are scared a little bit for the unknown. So step out of your boundaries, step out of your limitations. And doesn't say that you don't need them, that you don't have to need them. No, but it is more that if we see the world as a child, then freedom will come back. And the most beautiful thing is that we can do it because we are aware of it. Children are children. They are still in that mode of open-minded and learning. But when we grow older, we put more limitations on top of us. We put limitations to ourselves. And that's a pity. It can help you in a certain ways until a certain level, but if it is blocking us, just drop them. Look at them again and try to create your concept which is there and make an open concept, open picture, how we can deal with life. So karma and free will definitely is there, but it is not coming to you just like that. We have to do something for it. You have to make goals in life. That is what Patanjali is constantly telling us. If we have clear goals in life, then we realize and we understand that the free will is constantly inside of us. We can make a move in life. We can try to make our life more valuable because we are the only one who is giving value to everything in life. So if something is not valuable for you, then you don't get attached to it. But if it is valuable, you get attached to it. Does it limit you? That is the question, because there are many things we are attached to, which is fine. If a young mother has a child and I say, oh, detach yourself from your child, then that mother looks at me and then will say, hey, are you talking to me? And then I say, no, I know, you get attached to your child, and that is normal. But if your child is 25, are you the same attachment when a child is 25? No, and then you hope your child is going away. So everything is limited. But it is more the question, when does the habits, hormones, samskaras, expectations, our past, or karma, or own concept, when is it limiting me? When does it block me of feeling free? If it is blocking you, then I would say, go and practice yoga. Go and practice pranayama and practice asanas and practice your meditation. That will help you by reflecting to yourself over life. Okay. Then I will ask you if there are any questions. Then there is now an opportunity to ask if there is.